Hey guys, what's up? It's Jared from Click Capital and welcome to our daily technical analysis show where we'll be going over 80 major markets and providing you with our projections on where prices could be going next. And make sure you stay tuned right to the end where I provide my final diagnosis on the S&P and where I'm personally positioned myself. Okay, so it was a mixed day today. Dow was off the most, more than 1%. Nasdaq was actually up. Small caps was down. We had a bounce in volatility as we expected off this lower zone down here on the VIX, down from the low 18s. It was very oversold, so we expected that. That's a contrarian signal. So that is bearish for the markets with that big bounce in volatility. Going forward over to breadth, we can see 85% of S&P stocks are above their 20-day moving average, and this is getting towards the top of the range. You can see up here when we normally get a pullback in the market. 76% above their 50-day, moving up to the top of the range. 63% above their 200-day, but it looks like we're testing up here. Doesn't seem to be able to break. Neither does new highs in ETFs. It seems to be choking out around this high 60s. Same with big board stocks and Nasdaq stocks as well. So the breadth doesn't look like there. It's still, the breadth's confirming the downtrend in the S&P, and the short term we look overbought as well. Put call ratio was down today. So there's a contrarian signal. However, we had some other mixed things with cyclical ETFs up relative to defensive ETFs. Tech was up today, as small caps was flat. Growth did a bit better than value, and the yield curve had a bit of a big move. We had the 2-year falling 1% and the 10-year actually growing. So we've actually been expecting a bounce off the 10-year support line down here. We talked about this, and if this holds, this is bearish for equities. If it goes through, it's bullish for equities. But right now, it looks like it appears to be holding. And with that, we had bonds down, especially treasuries more so. Dollar's holding. It's holding at the level we've been expecting it to hold here. It's currently around the 50% Fibonacci. If we look around here, yeah, the 102. So we expect that to hold, and it's still in an uptrend on the medium term, long term, as we can see here on the chart. And with that dollar strength, we had the euro off a little bit. Bitcoin, if you watched our show on Friday, Bitcoin was trading a bit above 19,000. We expected it to come up to this 20,000 here, and it's actually shot through and appears to be holding. However, volatility is coiling, and this could be a point where it's turning, because in the medium term on the 3-day chart, we can still see it is in a well-defined bear trend. Over to commodities. Commodities was up slightly. Dr. Copper up, breaking out to a new high again, but starting to look a bit overbought here. Currently 11% above the mean. Gold had a bit of a pullback today. It's been on a rip lately, so it's not surprising to see that. Silver down a bit, oil down a bit, natty gas bouncing. We've been playing for a long here. We still have high conviction. This is low with all this volume coming in here. It's still 35% below the 50-day, and we have got a bit of seasonality, bullish seasonality coming into the name. Agriculture up a little bit. Uranium was off, but has still retained its short-term bull trend here. We like uranium long-term. On the long-term chart, we are still bullish, even though we've been in a channel for a year and a half. Over to the sectors today. Industrials were off. Transports were off. Energy basically flat. Materials are off. Clean energy up. Gold miners, the biggest losing sector today, down 3.4%. Home builders off, real estate flat, financials off. We'll get to that in a moment. Talk about some earnings that came out. Communications off, tech was up, discretionary flat, retail off, semis up. Bots the winning sector today. If you saw our video recently, we did a bull thesis on why we like bots as a long-term investment here. Biotech has broken its channel and it is holding. It is bullish on the short term. Got a bit of bullish seasonality coming into it, so this could still hold. And defensives were mixed. BlackRock, a barometer of the stock market inflows, was down a bit. Mega cap tech was mixed. Apple's up a little bit, as was Microsoft. Amazon was actually down 2%. Meta was down 1%. Nvidia had a good day, up almost 5%. Netflix off 2%. Barbara off. And Tesla, if you've been watching our channel, you know we've had high conviction that this is a short-term blow with all this volume and how deeply oversold it was. We had a divergence on the distance to mean. So we expect to bounce up to the 50 bar, which was around the Fibonacci. So around 150 by the time we get to the 50 bar, we still expect we will see 150 in the next week or two. And don't forget, we have earnings coming out in 8 days on the 25th. So that's something to be aware of. We could possibly trade up until that date, and then we could obviously get a big gap either way after that. I can imagine there's a lot of shorts in here that are still yet to be squeezed. Over to memes. Meme stocks had a good day, and this is a contrarian indicator. Okay, so these meme stocks don't have the best record of going up at the right time, and at AMC up almost 20% today. So I wouldn't say that is they're front running any major moves in the market. That's my bet anyway. Morgan Stanley came out with earnings today and actually popped up 6%, sold off a bit. Goldman Sachs actually, let's zoom in on this chart to see today's price action. Goldman Sachs actually had its worst earnings miss in over a decade. You can see here they surprised by 40% on the downside. Their deal making was down. They had larger loan losses than expected. Now that's a bearish sign for the economy because they're in the engine room of the economy, allocating capital and taking risks. So that doesn't seem really too bearish, and that's kind of continuing. I mean, that doesn't really seem too bullish, and that's kind of continuing on from earnings last week from other banks. And don't forget, we've got Netflix coming out on Thursday with earnings, so that'll be the big one to look at this week. We'll be kicking off tech and give us a bit of flavor of what could be happening there. We did some other risk-on moves today, and other beaten down names like CrowdStrike was up 5%. I just thought I'd add this as the interesting things to look at today. Same with Block, up almost 5%. With Bitcoin up, we've got Coinbase up as well. And Roblox said they've been doing pretty well, so they popped up 11%. Okay, so now that we've looked at all the markets, given a bird's eye view and done some intermarket analysis, what's the diagnosis on S&P 500? So we seem to be coming up to this trend line here. You can see we're kind of stalling out, getting some small candles. Volume is low. I was thinking last week we are going to break through this and maybe bull trap, and we can still obviously do that. But I'm thinking we could get a turn here because we do see breadth stocks above the 20-day up at this kind of high level here. We normally get a turn, and we had a big jump in volatility today, and just with the meme stocks popping and Bitcoin popping. I'd rather be on the other side of that. So you can see on the medium term 3-day chart, we're still bearish here. And for my own personal positioning, personally, I am net short 60% portfolio. On Friday, I was net short 40%. I've increased that today. If I'm wrong, we do get a big pop out and hold up here, I'll obviously get back towards neutral. But here, being short-term overbought, in a medium-term downtrend, I'm happy to be net short here in my portfolio. Okay, so that wraps it up for today. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you get our daily technical analysis videos like this show up in your feed every day. And we hope to see you again tomorrow for tomorrow's price action. Okay, cheers.